We don't want our students to regurgitate anything that they can Google or now look up on ChatGPT. And it's not just what you can see, it's how do you apply that? How can you apply that to a real world problem or a real world project?
You're listening to the SmartSocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. This is our District Talk segment where we interview district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday shine online. Now, let's get back to the interview.
Yes, I'm Dr. Angela Grunewald. I'm Superintendent of Edmond Schools in Edmond, Oklahoma. We just crossed over the 26,000 students this year, and we have those with 30 school sites, and we are a growing district. We grew by 700 students last year, so continuing to get bigger every day.
Hello, I'm Charlotte McDavid. I'm the Executive Director of Academic Innovation and Technology for Greenville County Schools. We're located in Greenville, South Carolina. Our district has 77,000 students plus and growing, and we cover 800 square miles. We have 51 elementary schools, 20 middle schools, and 16 high schools, along with other programs, career and technology centers, and early childhood centers, totaling approximately 101 sites.
My name is Jake Bacon, Assistant Superintendent for the Hermon School District, located in Eastern Oregon. We have approximately 5,400 students, K-12 setting, across 9 buildings.
With regards to ChatGPT, how is your school district approaching this new realm of AI?
You know, it's so interesting. Just a couple of days ago in our administrative team, this was one of our big topics. And the two things that I laid out before them is we can't pretend this is going away or that we can ignore it. And then second is it is important as administrators that we stay relevant. We have not been in the classroom with this age. And so we signed up as administrative team to attend several trainings in June because we have to educate ourselves and really understand what this is before we can start making rules and regulations and telling teachers how to use it. So we're spending this summer as an administrative team educating ourselves and learning so that when school starts, we have a wealth of knowledge, know what we're talking about, and then can make strong decisions on how we're going to embrace it.
We're launching a research task force so that this summer, especially as we attend the major national conferences, those are the things we're going to target. Our international conference, we're going to look specifically at those resources. We're also researching what's happening, not just in education, but in other industries. This is not a problem unique to education. We are looking for ways that we can harness the power of AI to magnify and actually to exponentially enrich what our students are able to do in the classroom environment. If we provide them with that resource, perhaps they don't need to look for other things to do in that space. But we need to be the learners. We need to direct them in how to make that work positively. But we're, as administrators, our district leaders, our school leaders, and we're going to come back and meet with our ETS team who's doing the safety part of AI. We're all going to look at the aspects from the parent, student, teacher, administrative, all those avenues. How do we begin to build a framework for what that needs to look like? And then how do we begin educating principals, our parents, our teachers, again, everyone on what are the best practices and what are the things to look for? It's there. It's out there. We're just going to have to figure out how to make it work. We can't just block it. We can't just block it like somebody said we're going to do Twitter. We can't just block it. It's here and it's everywhere. So we need to figure out how to harness it.
It's a great question. AI is jumping right in the middle of it, and we are in the beginning stages of conversations about how in the world to manage this. Right now, our director of secondary education is working with our 2 secondary buildings, or 3 secondary buildings, talking about how they're going to support it, what's okay and what isn't. Our director of technology has also worked to help us be able to screen some of our responses to determine how authentic the student's production of work is, which is interesting.
Are there any positive use cases that you've heard from students around ChatGPT?
I don't have any specific examples, but one of the things that we talked about where we know it's going to be most relevant is as we're preparing students for career fields. I mean, that's what we always talk about is we're preparing them for the future. We're preparing them for jobs. AI is going to be relevant in so many workforce situations that our students have to know how to use it so that they're prepared for the workforce when they leave our school.
Yes, I have heard of an example in which a teacher, because we have opened ChatGPT for teachers, and we had a teacher who asked the ChatGPT the prompt that she asked the students to write about. She then gave the students the answer. Here's the essay. I'd like for you to take this, outline, look for ways that you can build in your voice. How does this voice differ from yours? Because I'm your teacher. I have read your essays for an entire year now. If I read this and it does not sound like you, I now know I know your voice. How do you take this information, use what's there like you do other places on the internet, fact check what needs to be fact checked, put references where references need to be made, and then also make it your voice. Find what's good in it, find what's usable, and edit it. So with every student in the class having that same assignment, we should all come out with a different result. That was interesting.
Well, yeah, my daughter loves it when she has to write something. But the kids, it's fun to hear them talking about it. I was around my daughter and some of the kids the other day, and they would just come up with crazy off-the-wall comparisons of like who would win in a fight, a platypus or a mountain lion or whatever. They throw these kind of off-the-wall things, but it was neat to hear the kids just talk about it and interacting with it and just testing to see what it will really come up with. And it was fun to see some of the responses that they were getting and how they're doing. So, you know, in a social media world where you can isolate, we were able to see a moment there where it was bringing kids together.
I love that. That's a cute way of doing that. Okay, the last question for you. With regards to ChatGPT and AI in general, are you changing any of your techniques for grading students and the types of assignments and assessments being used in the classroom?
We haven't changed anything yet. We were talking to some of our English teachers, and it was funny. Our middle school teachers said, we don't need any tools to tell. We can tell. There's a big difference between their writing when they turn something in that they have used help with. Our high school teachers, though, the system that we use to check for plagiarism and stuff right now has told us that they will have a tool to monitor for AI and ChatGPT. And so we are looking at adding that feature on to what we already have.
This will take a while to evolve because we have tried to move to more authentic assessments, informative assessments, and away from the multiple choice answers a while back. Now that students are able to get a written answer, that is going to be a change for us. So it's going to take a while, quite frankly. I know that monitoring students while they're using or doing assessments, the high stakes assessments, that's going to be something that we will need to ramp up. Our student assessments, of course, we use Mastery Connect. We may use Google Forms. So we've had this kind of open. It's only open for a little while. We've locked the browser. We thought we had everything put together. Now we're going to have to look at, if we are indeed looking at assessments that are more high stakes, the way we monitor how students are working and using their devices will be different. We are also using a tool called Go Guardian where the teachers are able to monitor what's on all the student screens at one time. I think if given an assessment, we'll need to use that tool as well to say, I can see, and the students know, they know we have Go Guardian. They know the teacher can see where you are. And, but we need to keep eyes on the students while they're working. What we would like to see is having students create more authentic products. So we have a team doing project-based learning so that you can pull all of this AI in, but how do you create an authentic product that you present with the group that becomes something that you are now adding to the body of knowledge or adding to the body of ideas? We don't want our students to regurgitate anything that they can Google or now look up on ChatGPT. And it's not just what you can see, it's how do you apply that? How can you apply that to a real world problem or a real world project? And if we have a discussion around it, we've had a big emphasis on accountable talk and conversations. So if we are watching, what kinds of questions would you ask someone when they give you this response? How do you interrogate that response a little bit more as an adult learner and as a student? So accountable talk and having students have real conversations, providing authentic projects, that's going to be how we, I guess, use that, but also change the way we assess students.
Boy, Josh, I tell you what, grading and AI has been a huge topic the last probably 3 months for us. And we are looking at how that's going to impact us down the road. And I think one of the neat parts about it is, we'll just take writing an essay or paper, for example. When you're doing that research, past practices have really been, it's a long drawn out process, but with this part of it, it helps really chunk things out and challenges kids to find different avenues and sources of where they're coming up with information. So we're looking at how we, one, engage students through that process. So, hey, what does it say? Like, what's the feedback it gets you? Now, what are 2 other sources that you're bringing in? And so they're having conversations about that, about how they can bring it in and use it, but also not rely on it as being the only source of information.
Thanks for listening to our smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. This was our District Talk segment where we interview school district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday launch into their future by shining online. This episode was brought to you by our smartsocial.com VIP program. It's called the Very Informed Parent Program, which helps you engage your students with teen-led video lessons. Stay one step ahead with our premium parent newsletter and discover hidden features on trending apps on teens' phones and our 54 plus live parent and student friendly events every single year. You can click on the link below to chat with one of our team members if you want a free pass to our VIP program to support your community with our smartsocial.com resources. And if you're a district leader who has a success story, we would love to feature you on a future episode. You can click the links below to reach out. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Have a great day.